Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's special webinar titled Educator Voices on Grow Your Own, Community-Driven Recruitment and Retention Strategies. My name is Elizabeth Pufall-Jones, and I serve as the Director of Preparation and Work Environment Programs at the Center for the Study of Child Care Employment at the University of California, Berkeley. And our center is a core partner of the National Early Care and Education Workforce Center. Our mission of the National ECE Workforce Center is to support the development of a diverse, qualified, and well-compensated early childhood education workforce. We believe that every child deserves access to high-quality early learning experiences. And that begins with supporting the educators who make that possible. So the center is funded by the Administration for Children and Families, and the work of the center is its own and not necessarily representative of ACF and their views. I'd like to thank the various federal agencies that are supporting the center's work: PDGB5, OHS, OCC, and OPRE. And on behalf of the center, we thank them for their partnership so that we can bring opportunities like this to the field. Okay, next slide. Great. So to give everyone a sense of who is in the room, here's what you told us about yourselves in the registration. Many of you are first-timers here. Just over half of you have not participated in a National ECE Workforce Center activity before, so welcome, and we hope we inspire you to keep coming back. Okay. And we are happy to welcome a group of individuals with such diverse roles: policymakers, funders, home-based educators, providers, and owners, center-based and school-based leaders and educators, advocacy organization staff, leaders from states, counties, territories, and tribes, and technical assistance providers. Now there's the category of other here that has 159 people. So if you put that down as your role, we would love to find out what your role is. So please provide it in the chat and let us know so that we can better capture your role next time we have a registration poll, as well as in our work that we're doing for the center. We also see that you bring an incredible amount of experience in your respective roles. 61% of you have 6 or more years of experience in your roles, and approximately 40% have 10 or more years. That shows an incredible commitment to the ECE field, so thank you so much. But there was one of the things that we don't know yet, that we didn't have in the registration poll, is what state or region you all are joining us from today. So Jonathan, great, right on time. So please take a moment and share the state and or region you're from or representing today. And you can answer that in the poll right now. I'll give you all a second so that we can take a look at who and where people are from, I should say. All right. Great. Thank you. So that we'll share that information with you all later so that we can find out some more information about the different regions that are represented here today, as well as the states, which is wonderful. So here's our agenda for the next 90 minutes. We'll have the welcoming and introduction, which I'm working on right now. Then we'll give you an overview of Grow Your Own. Then we'll have an expert panel discussion. And if you get a little bored, please stick around because there's something really special at the end that we're excited to share with you, a little sneak peek into one of the videos that we created for our Grow Your Own campaign, which is launching on April 10th. So stick around, but I think you'll want to because we have a great group of people today. Next slide. Great. So I'm here, but I am thrilled to be joined by Erica Phillips, the Executive Director of the National Association for Family Child Care. She'll be our discussion moderator, and she has an incredible panel of discussants today, including Damaris Alvarado Rodriguez, the CEO of Children's Playhouse, who will be drawing on her experiences as founder of two leadership programs in Pennsylvania, which she founded in addition to running Children's Playhouse, an early care and learning program with two sites in Philadelphia. We also have Joanna Herrera joining us from the SEIU Training and Education Support Fund, where she acts as the provider and training support coordinator and leader of the Educator-led communities of care. And previously, she was a family child care provider. And finally, Jada Vargas, an aspiring early childhood educator who graduated from high school last year and was the millionth recipient of the Child Development Associate Credential awarded by the Council for Professional Recognition. Congratulations, Jada, and we are honored to have you here with us today. Okay. So our objectives for today's webinar are threefold. First, to raise awareness and provide an understanding of Grow Your Own approaches in the context of early childhood education. Second, to elevate educator voices and learn from committed individuals who have participated in and led Grow Your Own efforts. And third, to inspire you to engage with the Grow Your Own campaign that launches April 10th and maybe inspire you to go home and grow your own yourself. So I'm going to kick us off with a little about the National ECE Workforce Center. The center uniquely develops its content in community with the field and with each other. The research to practice process cross-cuts three center activities, depicted here as sitting in the middle and acting as a connector or bridge between technical assistance, research and knowledge development, and leadership, coordination, and partnership. This positioning ensures that research policy and practice are coordinated. Research activities are translated into actionable information that can be used by TA staff and the broader stakeholder audience, and that TA both reflects research and informs future research and analysis. A good way to think about research to practice is that we work closely with the ECE professionals to ensure that the center's research findings and recommendations are relevant, practical, and applicable to real-world settings. One way which we're currently doing this is with the launch of our Integrated Research and Policy Fellowship. So please explore the National ECE Workforce Center's website to find out more and perhaps to apply. Next slide. So through our research to practice work, we know that high quality early care and education provides a strong foundation for children's lifelong learning, health, and well-being, which sets them up for success in school and beyond. And despite this knowledge of the critical importance of early care and education, communities across the country are grappling with a severe shortage of early childhood educators. This shortage is not due to a lack of passionate, talented individuals who want to make a difference in young children's lives. We see that passion and commitment and how long so many of you have been in the field, and by the fact that you're here today to learn more. In addition to educators and folks already in the field like you, there are likely many potential early educators in every community who have the skills, expertise, and dedication to excel in the field. But they face significant barriers to entry and retention, things like low wages and limited benefits. Early childhood educators are often paid far less than their counterparts in other education sectors, making it difficult to support themselves and their families. They have challenging work environments. Many early childhood education settings lack the resources, support, and professional development opportunities that educators need to thrive and grow in their careers. They don't have planning time, much less planning time without children. And often they don't even have time to utilize the facilities, and thus, we see a very high occurrence of bladder infections among early childhood educators in the field. They have limited career advancement pathways. Without clear opportunities for promotion and leadership roles, early educators may struggle to see a long term future in the field. And the high costs of education and training um, that is necessary for pursuing degrees and certifications to become an early educator these can be expensive and time consuming, especially for those who are already working and or have families of their own that they need to take care of. These barriers can make it incredibly difficult for aspiring educators to enter the field and for current educators to remain in their roles long term. As a result, communities are losing out on a wealth of talent and expertise that could be transformative for young children and families. Next slide. That's why grow your own initiatives are so important. So, grow your own is an umbrella term that describes the many dynamic, equity centered, community driven, and holistic approaches designed to help communities strengthen and sustain a strong, well qualified, experienced, and diverse early educator workforce by nurturing the talents that already exist from within it and by removing barriers to entering and staying in the field. So, as we explore the concept of grow your own, it's important to recognize that these strategies are not new to the field of early childhood education. In fact, there's a long history of initiatives that have focused on recruiting, training, and supporting educators from within local communities to strengthen the workforce and improve the outcomes for children and families. Some key milestones in the history include the launch of Head Start in 1965. Actually, it says 67 on the slide, which not only provided comprehensive early childhood education services to low income families, but also created opportunities for parents and community members to become involved as classroom aides, volunteers, and even teachers. And we'll hear how that tradition is continuing in many Head Start settings today, later on in our Grow Your Own campaign. The establishment of the West Virginia Early Childhood Apprenticeship Program in 1989, which was one of the first registered apprenticeship programs in the country specifically designed to train and credential early childhood educators. We also saw the expansion of the Child Development Associate credential to high school students in 2011, which created new pathways for young people to enter the field and to earn a nationally recognized credential. And we'll get to hear from Jada about her experience later in this hour, 90 minutes that we have. We also had the launch of the Federal Early Childhood Apprenticeship Initiative in 2018, which provided funding and technical assistance to states and communities to develop and expand registered apprenticeship programs for early childhood educators. Now, the term grow your own comes from K through 12 education. The growth of grow your own teacher preparation programs in K through 12 education during the 90s and early aughts focused on recruiting and supporting educators to teach in high need schools and communities. The creation of Grow Your Own Illinois initiative in 2005 took a community development approach to building the educator workforce by providing funding and support for local partnerships and pipelines. And of course, there are events that aren't present on this timeline. And in no way is that meant to erase or ignore the rich contribution of other events and the communities that have made them. So if you're aware of a Grow Your Own program or an event, we want to hear from you as well. You can share it in the chat, but we'll also be sure to share the center's email address at the end so you can get in touch with us directly. So Grow Your Own has a rich history, and the principles of Grow Your Own approaches, whichever form they take, are grounded in research. For example, the research from the likes of Gloria Ladson Billings and others indicates that students do better when they are taught by educators who look like them, talk like them, and have similar experiences to them. Cultivating the local talent offers the possibility to offer culturally relevant curriculum that centers the identities and cultures of students, utilizes pedagogies that work to build a child's talents rather than oppress them, fosters relationships among educator and student, students, and educator and families, which we know has a huge benefit, and takes a transformative approach working towards equity and liberation. Grow Your Own has also seen success in cultivating local talent and supporting the growth of populations missing from the teaching profession. For example, the Call Me Mr. program, originally out of Clemson, was developed to support the cultivation of Black male educators in South Carolina. This program was a response to research indicating that many Black men do not go into teaching due to the negative experiences they had in education early in their lives. In addition to the research indicating that Black students are less likely to complete their education due to the racism they feel and experience at institutes of higher education. This indicates that not only is it important that we cultivate educators who look like the students at younger ages, but also professors of various backgrounds who will likewise be able to relate to students' experiences, growing your own at every juncture in the professional pipeline. Finally, there's growing research indicating that grow your own approaches might support the cultivation of the community. That is, educators cultivated through grow your own approaches appear more likely to stay in their community. Rather than losing talent to another community, grow your own communities, sustain and grow because they are meeting the community's vocational and economic needs. So we have some other resources that we will share with you at the end of the webinar so you can continue to learn more along with us about Grow Your Own approaches. But now I have the pleasure of handing it over to Erica to take us through the rest of the day. Erica.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning or good afternoon to everybody who's joining the webinar to learn more about Grow Your Own. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the introduction. I always love the history and really the research behind this campaign. So thank you so much for laying that groundwork. And as it was shared, I'm the executive director of the National Association for Family Childcare. We are the largest national professional association focused on supporting those who make the intentional choice to offer high quality early care and education delivered in a home-based setting, also called family childcare. More than 6 million children spend time in home-based childcare, and so we support represent licensed, license exempt, and informal family childcare programs across all states through professional development, convenings, networking, leadership development, accreditation, policy, and advocacy. So I bring in the room today, the virtual room with us today, the tens of thousands of family childcare educators we partner with and empower to ensure they get the respect and resources needed to transform early experiences for children, support families, and uplift communities. And we are honored to be a partner in the National ECE Workforce Center, and even more happy to be here at today's session centering educator voices for the Grow Your Own campaign. So today we're going to review essential elements of Grow Your Own strategies, and most excitingly, hear from an amazing panel of educator experts who are creating and participating in these strategies. You'll see a sneak preview of a video that is going to be used to launch this campaign, and then also ways in which you can stay engaged. You can continue to stay engaged with this work. But first, I want to share why I think this work is so important. And we often talk about the ECE workforce crisis, which is real. There are childcare deserts and preschools with long waiting lists because they can't find teachers to open their classrooms, and declining numbers of licensed family childcare programs. But almost on a daily basis, I'm in conversations with someone who is leaving the field and the work that they love for another job because it provides better pay or benefits, or someone who is afraid to open up their home-based childcare-based program because they either don't understand the process or can't have the risk of not taking a salary while they wait for families. And it just underscores that we have lots of dedicated people, but the conditions have not always existed or supported their ability to thrive in our sector. But I'm excited that today we'll talk about some promising solutions that build on this idea that our greatest assets are the people in our communities. It is the existing diversity that is in our workforce, and that the strategies to equitably and inclusively address the workforce challenges we face in ECE are already here and are already present in many of the communities that we're working with. So I understand the value of Grow Your Own as a community-driven and equity-centered approach. It's an opportunity for communities to create proof points for investment and to build the necessary infrastructure and buy-in to sustain the ECE workforce. The idea of Grow Your Own is baked into many programs delivered by NAFCC, our local affiliates and partners. I'm sure many of you that are on this call, including peer mentoring programs, hosting student teachers, supporting informal caregivers to become formal providers. So today we're going to get to define Grow Your Own strategies. And based on the registration survey, about half of attendees said they weren't familiar or that they think they've heard about Grow Your Own strategies. So our goal is that at the end of the series, everyone will feel comfortable discussing and planning similar strategies in their specific context. So a little bit of background on this. In 2022, New America published a Grow Your Own Educators Toolkit, which included 5 essential elements that the National ECE Workforce Center has expanded on. Grow Your Own is applicable for everyone across all settings, including centers, school-based, faith-based, home-based programs, preschools, and Head Start programs. And the Grow Your Own program is really broken into 3 different phases. There's a number of essential elements which have been broken into 3 phases: design, program delivery, and sustainability. You'll notice some have a star, which indicates that they're one of the 5 original essential elements from New America's Grow Your Own Toolkit. So before a program launches, it needs to be designed with a clear and shared equity-centered vision for success. Successful Grow Your Own efforts are guided by representative and inclusive leadership. The voices, perspectives, and leadership of the communities they serve. This includes intentional efforts to elevate the expertise and experiences of current and aspiring ECE educators, parents, and community leaders, making sure to tap into educator and family-led networks, like associations or informal parent groups that exist in shaping the vision, design, and implementation of Grow Your Own programs. Next, institutions of higher education are essential in providing accessible, high-quality pathways to credentials and training. ECE programs are important partners as well as beneficiaries of Grow Your Own, and they serve as key sites for practicum experience, job placement, ongoing professional development. And ECE programs have to support their staff with things like flexible schedules so that their staff can pursue their professional pursuits. Knowing who a community's aspiring and current educators are who will be participants in Grow Your Own efforts is essential, not just as beneficiaries of the program, but as partners in shaping these initiatives. Their insights, experiences, and leadership are sought out and valued in the design and implementation and continuous improvement of Grow Your Own. Successful initiatives will need startup funding, and this is why collaborative community partnerships are so important. Partners can leverage and align funding to support program design as well as compensating educators for their time during planning phases. Finally, because Grow Your Own is rooted in community, that means it's going to be developed and implemented by the people in that community to form strong community partnerships. So now let's move on to the program delivery elements. Thank you. The first essential element is recruitment from within the community. Grow Your Own recognizes and supports the talents that already exist. And with the community's strengths and talents in mind, Grow Your Own creates clear, accessible, and culturally responsive pathways that supports its community members in their educational and professional goals. Next, Grow Your Own provides opportunities for participants to gain hands-on experience in ECE settings while receiving competitive compensation and benefits so that they can sustain themselves in this work. Grow Your Own offers financial incentives, stipends, and wage increases, as well as tailored wraparound support so that participants can complete programs successfully and are valued for their expertise. Finally, these programs must create pathways for participants to continue their education in their professional development, take on leadership roles, and increase compensation and benefits over time. And that is particularly important. We must avoid perpetuating cycles of low wages and limited mobility for under-resourced communities that are sources of recruitment for many ECE programs. And recruiting people of color and communities impacted by systemic economic injustice. Grow Your Own initiatives must intentionally center equity through specific policies that empower participants. And that's why, again, all of this work is guided by an equity-centered and shared vision. And lastly, here are the essential elements for sustainability. Over time, community partnerships become long-standing and stabilizing forces to ensure that Grow Your Own programs continue to meet their goals. First, it's crucial to develop policies that support and prioritize these initiatives. We need to advocate for increased funding and resources to keep these programs going strong. Second, strong data collection includes systems to collect relevant data on program effectiveness and outcomes. The third is ongoing feedback is critical. We want to implement mechanisms for gathering feedback from program participants. This means seeking input from early educators and mentors and program staff, partners, faculty, everybody that has a stake in this program. And lastly, we should conduct periodic evaluations to assess program impact and effectiveness. By analyzing the data, we can determine if the initiative is meeting its goals and objectives. So now that we've went through that, let's hear from you. We're going to do another poll. Now that you've heard a little bit about this, we're going to do another poll. So yes, we're already asking you for your input on this. Okay, great. So after learning a little bit about Grow Your Own, do you see a need for this in your community? And you can respond with, yes, we're already doing it. Yes, we'd love to help. Or I need to learn a little bit more. The second question is, which of the following Grow Your Own strategies are you most familiar with? And we've listed a number. Take a few minutes to rank them in order of your familiarity with them. And the last question is, for which parts of your community are you most interested in focusing efforts? And this is helpful for all of us to share and also to direct our future efforts for the Workforce Center and other initiatives. Great, we see responses coming in. And to address some of the questions in the chat, yes, the recording and the PowerPoint, well, the recording will be available. Okay, so to our tech team, let us know when we have a good amount of responses, and then we can move on to the exciting panel. All right. Well, thank you all for providing that feedback, and we can see some of the initial results. And it's great to see that over half of participants are interested or already doing it. So that is incredible. And we know there's a lot of energy around here. And thank you for the detailed information on where do you want to focus your efforts? What are some of the most promising strategies? Great, thank you for sharing all of that. So now that we know where we're at and where your interests are, I'm excited to kick off this panel. By way of introductions, I'd like to ask all the panelists to answer the same question, to tell us about yourselves and to share a little bit about the Grow Your Own initiatives that you're a part of. So first, I'm going to start with Damaris. And if we can throw up Damaris. Hi, Damaris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Damaris Alvarado Rodriguez. I am the Executive Director of Children's Playhouse in South Philadelphia. I currently have 2 high-quality programs servicing about 276 children and families. We are actually expanding, and hopefully by the end of the summer, we will be servicing an additional 166 families in North Philadelphia. So we're moving and expanding rapidly. Apart from that, I'm also the president of Latinos Educando Juntos. So I've been in childcare for over 21 years. The core values of our program, so to create a diverse and equitable and inclusive environment with a sense of belonging for the families, children, and the staff within our organization. As a three-time awardee of the Octo Pennsylvania Diversity Inclusion Award recipient, this meant that I had to walk the talk and ensure that our staff, teachers within our organizations and programs were representative as well as the communities that we serve. Excuse me. These core values was born because of the personal experiences of being the only Latina business owner in our area in South Philadelphia and going through so many barriers due to the cultural background, my cultural background. As I knew that there were neighborhoods that were changing rapidly, it was important for me to create a space where everyone felt welcomed. And today, those spaces are called Children's Playhouse. I remember also going through COVID and the pandemic. I was the only Latina sitting in many meetings, just trying to figure it out, right? Trying to figure out if we're going to have a business tomorrow. Are we going to ever open up our doors again? And I quickly realized that there was no representation in any of the tables that I was in. And representatives of leadership, an essential element that drives me in this work. I have always been believed in being inclusive, and I saw a need for something. So I founded Latinos Educando Juntos to support new and existing leaders in this field. Latinos Educando Juntos is a passionate, small but mighty nonprofit organization and is dedicated to empowering the Latino community through education and impactful support services. So we focus on strengthening small businesses within the community, particularly those serving children and families. And through our programs and resources, we champion cultural identity, bilingualism, and academic achievement for future generation and families. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Damaris. It was something really interesting you said about seeing that opportunity, and thank you for being the representative in so many places. Joanna, I know you've played many different roles, and so I just want to come to you and ask you, what was the impetus for you to lead and participate in Grow Your Own initiatives?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Yes, so my name is Joanna Herrera, and I'm the leader of the Educator-led Communities of Care. I was a former peer leader and also a family childcare provider. So SEIU, Education and Support Fund, is a nonprofit organization that was founded for the purpose of developing and managing work-centered education, training, and professional development programs for our early family childcare educators. So our mission is to provide education and training programs that empowers workers, raise standards, and promotes high-quality jobs, especially in the field of ECE. We seek to grow leaders and build collective strength, and the goal is to become an advocate to improve those resources for our family childcare providers. In terms of CCPU Training Fund, we are geared towards working on early child education systems that prioritizes the need and advancement for family childcare educators. Educators are an essential part of the workforce. We support to invest in the families impacted by poverty and systematic racism in California and the underserved communities. And our trainings are culturally responsive, which means we develop Juntos Podemos peer mentorship, leadership development for Spanish-speaking family childcare educators, and initiatives by peer-led communities. And lastly, we create sustainable pathways for SEIU, Early Childhood Education Apprenticeship, that 20 providers have completed their BA degrees in. Because there was such a limited resource for our family childcare providers, we sought to find a community that built resources, education, and professional development training for our family childcare educators. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. And it's valuable because you've been a participant of many of those initiatives, and now you're on the other side and able to coordinate and lead and bring in that experience. And so thank you so much for sharing that. I am really excited to welcome Jada here to talk about her experiences as the millionth recipient of the CDA credential. Jada, can you tell us a little bit about why you participated in the Grow Your Own initiative that you've been involved in? Welcome, Jada.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Jada Vargas. I am 18 years old. I graduated high school of last year, 2023, and I graduated with my CDA credential. I did not expect to become the millionth person to receive my CDA. I was really surprised when I found out that I was um, holding the millionth title of the CDA recipient. It definitely has been a great blessing. It has helped me step my feet into the door to grow myself in this like section of early childhood education because I do know that it is very important. And I believe like as young people, we also have voices that should be heard. And I'm from the White Mountain Apache Tribe Reservation in White River, Arizona, on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation. And I always knew that I wanted to go into teaching in one way or another. And I heard from our early childhood education teacher that they were offering the CDA program to whoever wanted to. And I just decided to go for it and take it and take the class. And I was able to get great information and to learn different how this is the early childhood education course is. And I just always had comfort in teachers, and I always feel like that I always wanted to be one of like comforts for kids, if it was on my reservation to the little kids on my reservation or to those around the world. And I feel like it has very been a good road, and I'm very excited to see where this takes me. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jada. I see a lot of love and flowers for you in the chat. And we're so excited that you're here with us and not only getting that credential, but also really being a leader for others in your generation and in doing this work. And so I'm gonna stick with you for our next question. I'm curious to learn more about the partnerships that have been important to the success of Grow Your Own initiatives. Jada, someone who has recently participated or still participating in a program, could you tell us about it and how your school partnered with a child care program when you did the practicum? And also, if you want to get into it, what type of support would you have liked to have? So what were some of the great supports that you had, and what were supports that would have been more helpful to have in going through that?
Okay, yeah. So there were definitely some glows and some grows of the program that I was in with my school. Growing up on a reservation, I feel like education isn't really like fostered as good as it should be. A lot of kids slack in wanting to build their education. They don't think education's important. And well, with my program, it was a very good program. We were able to learn from the textbook. We were able to learn how to properly do things that we need to do while we're in the classroom, while we're with kids. But I feel like I could have had more like mentorship in the classroom. I feel like we were kind of just thrown in the classroom and we weren't really one-on-one. We didn't have like coaching opportunities. I feel like that is where we lacked a bit. And um I it want has put the want in my heart to go and learn more and to not just let that stop there. Like, oh, okay, well, I didn't learn what I needed to learn, and I'm just gonna throw it away. But instead, it put a fire in my heart to continue to learn more. If since I'm lacking in some areas, I want to like learn more. And I was able to find a great program that I wanted to attend. I recently applied to Haskell, Indian Nations University in Kansas. So they have a great program there that I know that they told me that I would be able to have good hands-on learning. And yeah, I feel like I was able to also get reach out through um different areas. Like there is a National Indian Educations Association, and I was able to attend that, not really knowing what I was going into, but I was able to learn more aspects. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jada. Your passion and your desire to continue comes through, and we all do need more mentoring and support when you're in a classroom with little ones. And so I think that feedback was well heard, and we'll come back around to some of the supports that any participants in these programs need. So thank you for sharing that. And Joanna, just staying with this theme of partnerships, I know that we at NAFCC have been really excited to support and amplify the work that you all are doing. Could you tell us a little bit about the partners involved with the Child Care Providers United Training Fund and their role in supporting the initiatives?
Yes, definitely. So CCPU Training Fund basically grew out of historic partnership between our family childcare providers and the state of California. So after 17 years of struggling and fighting, we became a union, right? CCPU in 2020. CCPU brought together United Domestic Workers, Local 3930, SEIU Local 99, and 521. And we negotiated our first contract with the state in 2021 that included substantial funding for worker-centered professional development trainings, which led to the educators-led community of care, which were funded through collective bargaining agreements, and in some cases, private grants, such as the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and Kellogg Family Foundation. And local unions also supported in marketing the program and identifying these peer leaders and educators as well. Our core strength was basically to lie in collaborative partnerships, working hand in hand with our family childcare providers, and also them being part of the peer-led trainings as well, because we use them as experts and use their expertise as we rolled out these monthly gatherings and network opportunities, such as connected in WhatsApp groups to stay, you know, stay in contact with them, because I know a lot of providers had mentioned that they felt isolated in this profession. And so we wanted to create a space that was a support system overall. And so that was a great thing. And lastly, our national partnerships, where we have the pleasure to share our work at the National Association for Family Childcare for the last 2 years. And it has been such a great experience to talk about the ELK program, our peer leaders, and our positive impact in the ELK participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna, for sharing that. And I know we've been really excited to provide space for that, just to connect with other family child care educators and share the work that you all have been doing, and the pathways that have been opened up through the peer mentoring program, through some of the apprenticeship work. And so that's really exciting. Damaris, I wanted to come back to something that you shared earlier about the sense of belonging. You talked a couple of times about being the only one and that sense of community. And so what are some of the things that you're doing to ensure that early educators feel community and belonging, and why is that so important?
I first started to address the critical need for more Hispanic teachers and leadership in Philadelphia's childcare sector. Uh, I took a multi-pronged approach. So firstly, I facilitated in-depth discussions with community members, families we serve, other childcare providers. Our goal was very clear, to identify the barriers preventing qualified individuals from joining the field. Many folks wanted to join the field, but they felt as though they didn't belong, right? Or it wasn't attainable, or because they had a different language, or they didn't speak English, right? That they weren't going to be welcome. So we wanted to address those challenges, but first we wanted to create this holistic approach in how to be an organization that's working for the people and led by the people. So we didn't want to do work that was duplicative in services, where other programs are. We wanted to provide mentorship. We wanted to provide coaching. We wanted to provide anything that was needed. So that was the approach to growing your own. Through our Latinos Educando Juntos organization. As Children's Playhouse, I knew that for a long time. We used the Head Start model, family advocate, family partnership model, and we just rode with it. I understood that for me to be a leader in my community, I had to build trust. And I had to get the trust from the people I'm serving. So I went into the community everywhere. There was a party or an event. I was there. I showed my face. Hey, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. If you need me, just come to our organization. And that's what happened. We started getting folks coming in and asking for employment, asking for opportunities, and we opened up the door for that. So that's how we did our Grow Your Own. Today, I'm very happy to announce that this whole entire year, we haven't had any staffing shortages because we grew our own teachers, right? So through the Latinos Educando Juntos initiative, we started a new initiative, and it's called Latin Lift. And through that Latin Lift program, it is a mentorship program where we are going to handhold. We're going to provide, if you need ESL courses, that's what we're going to give you. If you need a shoulder to cry on, that's what we're going to give you. If you need to push through that door, we're going to open that door. We're going to walk through it with you. So we want people to feel empowered, to feel that que sí se puede. Yes, they can. And to provide them the resources and the tools and everything that's needed for them to come, because our children need to see representation of themselves inside their classrooms, and not only in kitchen. There's nothing wrong with those jobs, but in higher positions, right? We want to build leaders especially in the Hispanic community, because that's where the work is driven. So that is what we are doing. Not to mention, roundtable supports and, community building and advocacy supports. And there's so much going into this Latin Lift project. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited that it's coming to birth. It already was in birth without a name under Children's Playhouse, but now bringing that 3-year listening to people, kind of getting that data that was needed to really further this work. It's actually launching now this year.
Great. Congratulations on that. And I have a quick follow-up question from the chat. Where is the geographic eligibility area for the program? Is it only Philadelphia? Is it Pennsylvania wide? Not nationwide? Or
So right now, this small nonprofit, but mighty nonprofit, is being invited to many tables outside of Philadelphia. But unfortunately, the funding that we just was able to receive after 3 years of asking, for funding for this project is only for Philadelphia. So we were partnered with. We were funded through William Penn Foundation. So we are piloting it only in Philadelphia right now, but if we have any funders on the call, you can definitely reach out to me because we would love to expand it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Joanna, I wanted to come back to you and see if you had any advice that you would give to other organizations or communities that are looking to start their own Grow Your Own initiatives. Oh, Joanna, you're on mute.
I apologize. I would highly recommend building a space for family childcare educators that would share the same values and equity and inclusion in the field. We see that there's a lot of opportunity for growth in the family childcare education field. And if they have the opportunity to expand on that and provide that support system, this will definitely result in the workforce just staying longer term for our family childcare providers, as we see that the numbers are declining as far as enrollment, as far as opening business and continuing their education in the ECE field. Having an opportunity for professional development, CDAs, apprenticeship programs, peer mentorship will all support our family childcare educators. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. And Damaris, did you have any advice that you wanted to share? I know your program is just in Philadelphia, but you are at national tables. So what do you share when others are asking, how do we do similar things in our community?
I would share, don't be afraid to visit and revisit approaches that are working and not working. Take it back to the drawing board. Don't take no as an answer. Don't feel defeated. There's been many times that I felt as though I'm working alone. And every day I'm reminded that this is bigger than me. So stick to what your core values are, what the mission is, and you're going to see that light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I saw it and I had many barriers in front of me. I faced many of them. And I feel as though I am going to knock down through this door. I'm going to keep knocking until I come in and you let me in. And I'm going to bring my people with me. So, just stick to that and just be open minded and receptive and willing to change. Yeah.
Thank you. That is so great. And I saw people really liking that don't take a no as an answer. And I know you talked about how we can implement this program, but I just want to talk a little bit about wages, because I know that's often one of the most complicated or tricky pieces of that. And Damaris, are you able to share how you were able to tackle wages and have that be something that is a success coming from the program?
Yes, I actually in my childcare programs, um, we're partners with the school district. We have every funding stream in our programs. So when we are budgeting for the year, I want to make sure that again we walk the talk. I can't talk about being equitable and then pay my staff not equitably. So what I do is I give them a very fair compensation. We don't pay minimum wage. We really put our budgets to work for our organization and our staff in there. And we also have a salary scale, right? So the staff, and it's very transparent. The staff knows what's there, what can they earn. So if they start off at a high school diploma, we literally start them, at a very reasonable rate. So we're able to compete with those other folks nicely, but it's not all about wages as well. It's about benefits. It's about what kind of supports. We founded Exceptional Bilingual Leadership Institute as well, which I didn't mention before, but that is an opportunity for people to go into leadership and really go into a deep dive of what does it look like to be a leader, right? In all aspects, whether you're coming in as an assistant, whether you're coming in as a teacher, whether you're coming in, as an administrative support, whatever it is, family support. And we really have these conversations on how can we build. So we desire that, and we built that into that as well. So that's part of the compensation. I'm a big believer too, by the way, of giving family leave, paternity and maternity leave, and they get paid for it. So, and they're off in the summer. So I build all of that into my budget. Budgeting is the key. And making sure that you're investing correctly in your staff, because they will invest back into you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it is incredible that you've been able to build that in. And it really does show the values and the transparency. And it's more than just the pay, but the benefits, the pay time off and leave. So thank you for that. Jada, I was going to come to you with the next question. And I understand that you and your cousin are thinking about starting a Grow Your Own program. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what kind of ideas you're thinking about, and really taking your experience and being able to bring more of your peers along?
Yeah, so it is still in the talks. We are still discussing and we're still working on it a lot. But the main like motive of it was to help teach White Mountain Apache Tribe and San Carlos Apache Tribe parents while including Apache teachings and reintroducing generations of Apache knowledge on cultural foundations that have guided our ancestors in parenting. And we believe that this program would help benefit parents today and just helping parents on a level to where me and my cousin have early childhood education from college while tying it into Apache culture while helping parents because I feel there aren't a lot of native teachers on our reservation, and we would like to like help change that in a way and be the I would like to just grab all this information. That's why I feel it is very important.
Oh, that was so good. I think we might have lost Jada. Wow. Well, that was amazing. And when she comes back on, we'll hear a little bit more about that. But I think all of us are so impressed about the idea of weaving in from the Apache tribe some of the lessons there with the formal ECE education. And so really excited to hear more about that. I am going to ask either Joanna or Damaris a question about data. And would either of you like to share more about the data collection piece of this work? It does seem like a fairly large lift. And what type of data are you collecting? How do you get buy-in from the participants to give this data? For either of you, if you'd like to jump in on that question.
I can start. For Philadelphia, there was no data that we can actually find anywhere until yesterday. Children's First just released the first report on Hispanic children and families in Philadelphia. So we were really excited to see that. We knew that these barriers existed, but there was no data really specifically for our region, for where we're working at. So we started roundtable discussions with providers, and we started collecting our own data. The data was focusing on 5 key points, I'm sorry: professional development opportunities, leadership opportunities, educational advancement, business practice, business and finance practice. There goes Jada. You want to go back to her?
You can wrap up your
Okay.
point, and then yes.
Yeah. So we started collecting data for that. So I know data is very ongoing, but at least we now have the data we needed to form this own work, right? This work right now. And I'm very proud to say that today we partnered with, not today, but today we are partnered with Hope Partnership and Esperanza College. So they are actually supporting Latinos Educando Juntos with increasing that data and strengthening that data.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And just a really comprehensive list of information that you were able to collect from your roundtable. So thank you for that. And I do see Jada is back. Hi, Jada.
Hello, sorry about that. My laptop died.
That is okay. So just to recap for everybody, Jada, is your camera on so we can make sure that we
Yeah.
can see you? Okay. We can hear you. Thank you, our tech team. Jada, so we were just hearing how you were going to integrate some of the cultural learnings, Apache learnings with the formal ECE education as a way of sort of changing the representation of the teaching of the early childhood teachers in your community. So if there was anything else you wanted to say, I wanted to bring you back in.
No, I believe that was all. I summed it up pretty okay. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. There was a lot of excitement about something like that. So we're almost at time. So I'm just going to go to the last question that we have time for. And I know that you all have touched on this, but I wanted to ask each of you to expand on one question, which would be, how has participation in the Grow Your Own program impacted your own career trajectory and professional development? And Jada, since we have you here, I'll ask you to go first and just talking about, what's next. You can keep it brief, but how has this impacted you and what's next?
So I definitely do want to continue in early childhood education, and I feel like this was this program is like a great way for me to continue to keep my feet in the water and to continue to grow as a person. Definitely, I want to go to school to continue to be in early childhood education, despite all of the like, oh, it doesn't make a lot of money and a lot of those negatives. And I wanted it to continue to just grow and to continue to keep moving forward. And I'm very thankful for you to have me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jada. It is our honor. We are so grateful to have you. Thank you for joining us. Joanna, same question for you. How has this impacted your own personal and professional career trajectory?
It has definitely helped me build more leadership skills and advocacy. I feel that leadership skills and characteristics are strong foundational parts for any early childhood educator, especially in the field in family childcare, right? Because you want to have these roles and assigned experts, so to speak, to help other family childcare educators also grow in their profession. As far as peer leaders, and the peer leadership program, it helped me build a stronger insight of what we need in our ECE community, such as creating a space, a wraparound support system, and professional development training. We were able to brainstorm ideas together, sustain our profession with these type of trainings. So I think it has been a great aspect to have and build upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for your leadership, for representing family child care educators in California and also beyond. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And Damaris, to come back to you, how has creating Grow Your Own initiatives, has it had an impact on you professionally?
I'm always learning new things. I feel like I wear so many hats that sometimes it's really difficult for me to navigate all the hats that I'm wearing. But I do know that I'm very invested in learning new things. I feel like a researcher. I'm always like reading up and making sure that I'm abreast with everything that's happening. And that can be difficult because there's so much happening at one time. So I'm also learning how to address that, right? That the needs that providers are telling me, or families are telling me, or teachers are telling me that they need. So I'm learning how to walk in people's shoes and think open-minded, not think biasly, right? So I want to like make judgments non-biasly. I want to, do DEIB work, and I want to be really committed to that. So professionally, I feel like I have grown, right? But personally, it's an amazing feeling, right? To be a change maker, to be helping and to see the fruits of your labor, paying off at the end. So I want to be people led and keep the door open to providers and teachers and families and work for them. And that means I must grow. I must be non-biased again. I must not be afraid of change, because sometimes, people get afraid of change, and I have to stay focused on the goals. And most importantly, know that this work matters.
Thank you, Damaris. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Jada. Thank you all for your time, your leadership, for creating the conditions, creating the workforce that we need in order to maintain and sustain so many dedicated individuals who want to do this work. But without those benefits, without those conditions, are not able to do that. And so thank you for spotlighting what the educators' voices look like in our Grow Your Own initiatives. And I know there were so many questions in the chat, that in the Q&A, that we weren't able to get to, but this is just the first of several series, and so we'll make sure to incorporate some of those questions that we were not able to get to into some of the future sessions. And so now we're going to go back to a poll to hear from you. And so our question is, what innovative strategies or approaches would you like to see incorporated into Grow Your Own programs to enhance recruitment and retention of early childhood educators? So give folks a little bit to reflect on what they heard, to reflect on what they see in their community, and put that in the poll. Just know, if you're like me, you're feeling incredibly inspired after hearing this, and that there's so many solutions and strategies out there, even things that were put in the chat that we didn't get a chance to talk about, that can ensure that we maintain the beautiful tapestry that is our current workforce. Great. Is that poll still up? Or are we ready to move on to the video? Great. All right. So for those who are still here, you're in for a treat. We have a first look at the Grow Your Own campaign that will launch on April 10th. And I'm excited to share with you a video featuring North Seattle College.
North Seattle College offers early childhood education classes for early educators in their preferred or first language to help them complete their required educational credentials or certificates, and also continue to complete their degrees as well. We offer early childhood education courses in Spanish, Somali, Arabic, and Mandarin. Another reason that I'm really invested in this work is I think about my mom, and she's been here for the last 50 years, and she still doesn't speak English. If she had the opportunity to take classes in her home language, she'd have her own childcare right now. We have so many people like my mom who belong here. We just have not found a way to provide opportunities for them to contribute, to be a part of this workforce. Right now, we have 350 students in our language immersion program in cohorts. And we've noticed that with this cohort model that students tend to stay together, they stay in the program, and they support each other. Juan Marquez was in our first cohort. Juan has been instrumental in supporting the community and the cohort that he worked with, as well as others. So he also came in as a mentor Not only is he a success story because, he started this program to support his wife's family home childcare, but guess what? He's opened his own program and is hoping to continue to grow that. And he has 3 teachers that are starting in his program who are going to be starting our program. So it really is something where we are growing our own.
When I started the early child education program in Spanish immersion, I thought it wasn't be like 100% in Spanish. So I was scared. Actually, in the first day, I feel like comfortable. I feel safe. I feel belong, because when I see my other classmates, my teacher, she looks like me, she talks like me, and I see another classmate. Actually, I was the only guy, the only boy, and I feel like a home. With a little bit English, you can be succeed. You are like a hero for the kids. They see you like a model.
We haven't had to advertise our program. 0 recruiting because our students feel safe and they feel like they belong, and so they're telling other friends, family members, and teachers that might work with them to start our program as well too. It's a systemic issue, right? Like what we're seeing is that, hey, it's English only. And when we think about it just in English only, we miss this opportunity to really see people and recognize that there's so much more to the work that we do than just, building a workforce. It's really giving people opportunities to grow and to start something that they didn't think they could do. And to have a degree, have credits, have an education that nobody can take away from you.
Okay, ahora Bridget. Aquí. ¿Puedes decir aquí? Azul, por favor. ¿Puedo ayudar? Gracias.
Alejandro, espera, mami.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much to North Seattle College, to Juan for sharing that. I had goosebumps. You are a hero. We are heroes to the children, but to our communities in doing this work. And Grow Your Own is about making sure that the supports, the compensation, the early education pathways, the higher education is available and flexible so that we're all able to succeed. And so I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did. And before we end, we have one more question, and this time we're just going to use the chat. So after the overview and the panel discussion and seeing the video featuring North Seattle College, we want to invite you to share, what does Grow Your Own mean to you? Nobody has an ownership over this term. So please let us know, share with us in this moment, what does Grow Your Own in early care and education mean to you? In some of the responses I'm seeing, it means being in touch with the diversity in our community. It means finding growth opportunities, empowerment, recruiting people, and also retaining, having less turnover, a commitment to ECE, into diversity, really spotlighting the connections that are made, the growth opportunities, the models of support. That's lovely. Empowerment and hope. Great. Thank you all so much for sharing this. feel free to continue to put them in the chat. But I want to invite you to join us for 3 upcoming webinar events that are a part of the Grow Your Own campaign series, so that you can learn more about Grow Your Own. So the next one will be on Wednesday, April 10th at the same time. That's 12 Eastern time. And that one is Grow Your Own ECE Catalyst for Recruitment. And then on Wednesday, April 17th, we'll have a session on partnerships and pathways. And then on Wednesday, April 24th, will be the 4th and final webinar in this series. And that is on nurturing and supporting talent. So please save these dates so that you can learn more and hear more from amazing experts and panelists who will be sharing their perspectives. Before we say goodbye for now, I want to thank you all for attending and participating so fully in this rich conversation. Thank you especially again to our incredible speakers and panelists. Elizabeth, thank you for the grounding from the ECE Workforce Center. And thank you so much to Jada, Damaris, and Joanna in sharing your experiences. Thank you to everybody who attended. It was clear the commitment of folks across the country to early childhood education. It definitely gave me hope. And I hope that you all are leaving today excited for creativity in the field and the potential for Grow Your Own in communities across the country. So thank you so much and have a wonderful day.